The Hamish and Andy Show podcast. Powered by Amy. Lucky you're with Amy.
Cheers, everybody.
And that is the official board meeting bell.
So
it sounds a lot like... No, it sounds like 2 beer bottles, but it's like the Wall Street bell. Speaking of Wall Street, Ando, my wall fell down the other... No, we're in New York.
We are in New York. Hey, I'm very excited to be here. Of course, ties, jackets on. This is an official board meeting, the first of ours from New York. We are at the flat.
We're in your nook. We're in Nook York.
Jack is in kind of the DJ area, we're calling it, because he's sitting a little above us for this meeting. And, Haim, we've got so much to get through. First of all, can I just kick us off for this board meeting? Thank you for everyone hitting HamishAndy.com. If you're going to be in or around New York, we'd love to have you for the TV show. It should start in a matter of weeks.
No more than a few months. Or a bit more weeks. It's coming up soon. Now that we're here in New York, we're really going to get our act together on that TV show. I mean, for no other reason than A, we bloody want to do it, and B, we bloody promised Channel 9 we would. So time to get
in order of importance, I don't know which one it is.
I don't know either, no. But how much fun is it? It's amazing to actually be here. Gap year's begun.
Yeah, before we get to that...
Want to get on... Can't wait to get back to the regular show, but we thought since everyone in radio is taking a break, we'd squeeze a board meeting in.
Exactly, and that's what I wanted to point out. A lot of emails coming in showing love for Gap Year, this one particular, and we've had a few of this type of nature from Stephen Stiegelbog.
I read Stiegelbog's email.
Yeah.
Did you think he was going for a joke name and sort of mixed it up at the end, or do you think his name's really Stiegelbog?
I think it's Stiegelbog or Stiegelbog.
Okay.
But anyway, boys, just had to write to show you some love and some hate for Jack.
Yeah.
On Fridays, I like to relax your podcast over due to the inability of one of the supposed workers, in quotation marks.
That's generous.
My Friday's been ruined. Thanks, Jack. I'm sure the thanks, Jack, is sarcastic. Now, I wanted to point out to Stiegelbog and...
Jack's been sacked.
No, that's not true. We were away on a break, so there was no podcast.
Jack's been rehired because it turns out that when we investigated it, all of radio was taking a break.
And he should... Actually, we shouldn't take him seriously, because if he was a true fan, he would know from the previous podcast that we said 2-week break. So,
hey,
don't can't test every person who listens to the show. People have lives as well, Jack. They can't just be listening to the show for 2 whole hours a week.
He says he downloads the podcast every Friday. That means he downloads it and doesn't listen to it.
He might have banked it.
I don't want this to turn into a Stiegelbog post fight.
I don't want to... We're not here to Stiegelbash Bog.
So, anyway, there was no podcast last week. There will be one as of next Friday.
Of course.
Coming back. The regular show.
Back live. We'll do it right here from where we're standing now doing the board meeting, here in the Nook at Andy's apartment in Nook York, the grand centre of all things radio and podcast related here in New York for you and I. Think of all the guests we're going to have here, Ando. Probably none, because we're going to be on from 2 to 4 a.m. because we want to do the show live for Australia.
Yeah, that's a good point.
We might go outside and drag a few homeless guys in if they can do a Robert Redford impersonation, but I'm not holding my breath. Can I just kick you guys off with a bit of a New York tale? Yeah. How's this? This afternoon, I went in to buy a bike because we're going to be here for a couple of months, and I thought, I'll cruise around on a bike.
And your burgers per day have just been through the roof, so there's something to combat.
If I ride over to Andy's apartment, it's a 5-minute ride. That's 2 burgers I'm allowed to have, or 10 sliders, which are mini burgers they serve over here to make you think you're not eating burgers. I'm in the bike store, right, and this guy is giving it maximum sale to this bloke's in there. He wants to buy a bike. The sale was about to be closed. Okay, they're like a handshake, a nod, and a credit card away from the transaction being done. The guy had obviously just laid it on thick, the bike salesman.
Yeah, good bike.
He's loving his shtick. Yeah. And then, so the guy goes, okay, I think I'll take this bike. The guy goes, no, man, you don't want that colour. That colour's for girls. And the guy goes, oh, right, is it? He goes, yeah, man, I will sort you out with another colour. Stay here, man. You don't want to be riding that around. And so the guy's like, oh,
what colour was it in?
It's like silver.
Okay.
Anyway.
Universal colour, you
would have thought, since bikes commonly made from metal, silver being one of the colours of metal, the guy goes out the back, comes back a bit sheepishly. He's like, damn, man, I thought we had it in a different colour. But that's the only one we've got left. And the guy goes, maybe I'll come back when you have a bit of bike when you have another colour. The guy goes, man, you know what? Listen, that is only a girl's car. He said, listen, I'm Italian. I'm Italian-American. Yeah. He said, and this guy behind the bike was Asian, right? He goes, do you hang out with a lot of Italian-Americans? The guy goes, not really, to be honest. And he goes, listen, man, only in the Italian community is that a girl's car. Tries to get him back playing the race card, going, in the Asian community, that's the toughest colour. So tries to go, yeah, no, only for Italians do we think that's a girl. And he goes, it's not even real, man, it's not even really, because it's like some girls ride it, some guys ride it.
Okay,
mate, you've carried on like it's got streamers and a basket on it, and you can't take it back. The guy's don't mean it. I'll have a think about it. Maybe I'll come back later.
I love that. Hey, I need to recognise, and the board does need to recognise, Jared Primavera.
Hey, Jared.
Yeah. He writes a good question. When can we say we've just arrived?
That is a good question.
Can we? How long do we sit around going, oh, we've just arrived? Like, because to be honest, we've been in the States now for, 3 and a bit weeks.
I would go off... I mean, just arrived in New York or just arrived...
I'll run you through a few scenarios.
Yeah.
Hello. How you going?
Very good.
Good.
Silver bike? What are you, a girl? Sorry, because I'm,
no,
I'm 1/8 Italian.
No, I hang out in Asian communities. It's fine. I just... so you're travelling from Australia?
Yes, I am.
Oh,
my friend Andy is single.
Good.
Wingman.
Good, thanks for that. How long have you been here for?
Got into New York like 2 days ago.
So you could have said we just arrived at that.
Just arrived, really.
Yeah. But if I'd said, have you been in the States long, you couldn't say just arrived, could you?
Probably 3 weeks, no, too much. Maybe, do you know what I think I go off? If you've unpacked your suitcase.
Well, you've never arrived.
I technically haven't moved in to the last 3 houses I've lived in. Because I'll do some washing at some stage, and maybe after that, I can't say I've just arrived. If you've done a wash cycle in a country, you haven't just arrived.
Great. I think that's solved that one. Now, we would be shredding this normally, but we don't have a printer yet in the Nook.
And when I do it, we're doing an uncharacteristically eco-friendly version of the board meeting where we don't print and shred the emails.
Yes.
And I'd like the board to recognise Khalid. Khalid. For no other reason than he writes to us from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia. It's just saying, hey guys, just love the show. Greetings from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Might be our only Saudi Arabian podcaster.
Riyadh.
So I thought we'd just recognise Khalid.
Yeah, good on you, Khalid.
Consider yourself virtually shredded,
Khalid. You are a chance to get recognition if you're coming from somewhere obscure, and I don't want that to seem...
Don't worry, we traced his IP address.
Yeah.
And we know exactly where he lives. We've got a team watching him at all times, and we're going to have them pounce on him on the street to go, what's on your iPod, to check if it is us.
Hey, when we last did the proper show, we just left Miami.
We had, yep.
And Jared Ubas has... Recognised by the board, has emailed in. We're talking about how we got mosquito bites. Remember we were in Miami? Yeah. It's obviously surrounded by water. There was a lot of mosquito bites.
A lot of swamp.
This is he refers to it as a life tricks, which I'm wrapped with. But he said, if there's an itch somewhere on your body, scratching somewhere else helps relieve the itch.
No, it doesn't.
Well, does it?
Why would that work?
Well, he said that there's a brain releases chemicals that it thinks it's relieving the itch throughout your whole body. So saying, you know how
I've never tried that, but God, I'd be amazed if that works.
Well, it's a good point. I mean, I don't have.
Isn't it the same as going if you hurt your shin, get your mate to punch your nose, and your shin won't hurt?
Well,
I think you've just got one unnecessarily scratched part of your body and still an itchy bit.
Well, okay.
As someone that gets itchy a lot, can I just say the only solution is scratch it till it bleeds.
That's my point.
Once you see red, you can go to bed. Cut it, scratch it. Just hurt it. Teach it a lesson.
That's why I'll bring this life tricks up to you, with you, Ham, because you are a scratcher. You're a scratcher. You're a picker.
I'm a scratcher.
You'll knife it if you.
We want a scratcher, not a baseball catcher. That's the chant that goes out in my body a lot.
So I was thinking this could be helpful.
Mate, I'd use power tools if I could with Mozzie Bites. I get so angry. I actually personally blame that patch of skin for letting the team down that I don't regard it as part of my body anymore, and I punish it for being the weak link. I will squeeze, pinch, scratch away till it bleeds, and then as it sits there bleeding or crying tears of blood, I'll stare at it and go, well, you're doing nothing for me. You can cry all you like, but I'm glad that I made you bleed because you might have pushed out the Mozzie poison.
So you're not going to consider Jared...
No, because I'm killing an innocent man because another piece of skin was weak.
Okay. Sorry, Jared. Shredded virtually.
Ando, the board recognises Desmond Linguini.
Okay.
Hey, guys. Hope you're enjoying your holiday. It's not a holiday, Desmond.
We've got to stress that.
Come on. It's a gap year. This is a learning cultural exchange. Sitting in the emergency room, and it's been about 500 hours, and I've been listening through the podcast. I think they might have let Desmond blow on the green whistle, because there's a few spelling mistakes, and he goes off on a few tangents. Thought I'd email and see if this is read out. Yay! He's sort of hoping it's read out there. I'm here because my wrist is stuffed. I guess I'm emailing to see what the hit rate is with your emails, because last time I emailed... I was Bobo Wonderluff, and I got through even though it was the board meeting. He's now changed his name to Desmond Linguini. Feel free to read this out, guys. Even though this is a bunch of nothing, I'll be listening intently. Good luck getting another job, Desmond.
I do not encourage this kind of behaviour in the board meeting. We cannot reward people for just writing... I just
like the fact that he name-checked Bobo Wonderluff, which we all knew was a fake name, and his email address is Desmond Linguini 132. So he's obviously... I think he might have got 123 wrong.
Well, he's not. His name's not Desmond Linguini.
It's not Bobo Wonderluff either. Who is this enigma?
No, I don't want to know, because we can't encourage strange names. These people are meant to be our friends, Hab.
You're right.
If they're going under false pretenses, who is he? I don't know. I can't trust him.
Wouldn't it be amazing if his name was actually like Alfonso Lasagna, but he thought Desmond Linguini was crazier?
On that point...
Alfonso Lasagna's written in.
No. On that point of, yes, we get some crazy names, and it's harsh because when we read them out, often there'll be a giggle amongst the group, and I often wonder whether Mr. Linguini's sitting there going...
Got him again. And I thought Bobo Wonderluff was good.
No, whether the real Mr. Linguini's listening, going...
I didn't write it.
Well, no, he didn't write him.
Or Patricia Linguini's yelling out, Desmond, did you write into the Hamish and Andy show?
I wasn't more thinking that they thought that they'd written in, Ham. I was more just wanting to cover
Bloody sleep typing.
I wanted to cover off the fact that we've giggled at a perfectly good surname.
Linguini?
No, yes.
That's giggled again. Don't get angry at me for giggling.
My point is, when we bring up...
I'm the Italian one. I'm allowed to laugh at this stuff.
Even if they are fake when written in, there could be a real Linguini, or the whole Linguini family sitting around listening to this podcast, all the board meeting, of a Friday evening with their pasta and their red wine. And
why are they eating themselves?
Anyway...
just like your family, Jack, because your last name's Post, sits around on posts.
Okay, moving on. One thing I did want to bring up, I think it was a couple of board meetings ago, we encouraged people to send in photos of an animal with...
a cat in its mouth.
A cat in its mouth.
We had a picture of a dog with a cat biting onto a cat's head. And we know for a fact that cat survived and was a happy cat afterwards. So we're not encouraging people to bite cats.
Are we...
That's Alf's radio show.
Are we done with cats?
Oh, man, we're getting some pretty good cat pics. Look at that! Cat in a lion's mouth.
No, it's a Labrador.
Oh.
Okay. But I just wondered whether...
4 cat points from that photo. So look at this one. Look at this one I got sent in. I mean, we all got sent in, but I've happened to have up. There's a cat sinking into a couch, yelling, help.
Okay. My point is, there's been a lot of cat photos.
Andy, the internet's 98% cats anyway, so we're only playing into its hands.
Should we start a gallery for cats in animals' mouths?
Just cat gallery.
Cats and elephants. No, it can't be just cats. Cause
Jack doesn't like it. Jack's not happy.
Since we put Robert Pattinson on the side, and now we put a gallery
start to the cat gallery.
Any cats, people are going to think we're just trying to copy YouTube because it's so famous for cat hit rate.
I think we've got to go specific with cats in animals' mouths. We've got so many of them. I've been keeping them.
Right.
I'm gonna
Cats stuck in things, or it has to be an animal's mouth?
In an animal's mouth.
All right.
Or I think there's a lot of people sending in just other animals in animals' mouths, but in a friendly way. We don't want, go Nat Geo on this thing and see, a crocodile taking down a baby,
no, we certainly
bison,
don't.
something like that. But,
we certainly don't.
But cat animals
in other animals' mouths.
Gallery will be up at hamish.com.
I'm just reading webnews.net. Breaking news, cats in other people's mouths at hamishandeddie.com. Huge hit. Are we ready for this boardroom meeting to divulge or just deteriorate? That's what I was looking for. Okay. Just deteriorate into a random John Rules mess. Because there is an issue.
I'd like to
give us a few more minutes before it deteriorates. Yep. Just to reiterate, that is the word we're looking for. Into a random John Rules mess.
Hey, can I quickly get one here from Taylor Robe? This is a little bit to do with burgers per day. Mm-hmm. She says she is glad the gap year is going well, and she's aware that you're still having problems lowering the BPD. Mm-hmm. The Reductor, I could take as a guess that you're not using Reductor anymore.
If they would have let me, I was going to fling Reductor out over the countryside of Carolina as we flew over it.
Yeah.
Because it's a
risking
scam.
Decompressing the whole cabin of a flight.
They don't work.
There is a mouth spray that she'd like to suggest. It's called
Arse Mouth.
No.
Makes everything taste horrible.
No. It's called Sensor Slim. And what it does, it numbs your taste buds enough so you just don't really taste anything anymore.
No, guys,
and then to a point where you just, don't want to eat.
That's the problem, isn't it? With this whole trying not to explode with fatness in America thing.
Yeah.
The problem is a lot of the solutions seem to be taking either the desire to eat or the desire to have taste away from me. Mm. The problem is you cannot beat that desire. If my mouth is numb, I will eat 50 burgers till it comes back. But the problem is, within me, the desire for taste is so overwhelming. Mm. It makes it look like vampires want human blood as maybe a bit of a whim. My desire to eat burgers, it makes a werewolf look like a bear with a sore head. Okay. Compared to those guys, my desire for burgers is insatiable. Okay. It will. I could in the moment, like in a sort of a kind of a one-off scenario, I could spray that spray, but I'll be so upset with the concept of losing the taste of burgers that I'll wait it out. I'll try and scrape it off my tongue. I'll try and.
So you say no sense.
I'll try and cut your tongue out and swap tongues with you. I mean, it's
all right, Taylor. It's noted, but it looks like it's a big.
It's an unwinnable fight. I think that's my problem. I love the taste of their food over here. Mm. More salt, more sugar. Mm. They've figured it out. They got a lot of fatties.
Yeah, they do.
They don't mind.
Yeah.
The crazy thing about American food is when you're over here, like. You would not eat a burger a day in Australia. You wouldn't have fries with every meal. No. The crazy thing, the psychological experiment the food industry has won here in America is everyone else is doing it.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Okay, fries for breakfast? Well, it wouldn't be on the menu if it was a weird thing. So if everyone else is doing it, it's massive. It just makes me realise how weak-willed we are. As soon as we're in it, if everyone else is doing it scenario, off we go. We're having fries with breakfast.
So Sensor Slim is not getting taken up by
in the bin.
Sensor Slim in the bin.
Straight to the bin.
Hit me with the random John.
We should point out quickly that when we do Friday the 1st of July, next Friday, when we do the radio show live from here in the Nook in New York, we will address the Steven Seagal situation. There's been a lot of hot leads. There's been more ice-cold water thrown on our only half lead, which is... When we had a lovely alert listener ring from England going, my friend went out with Robert Seagal, Steven Seagal's son, Sadly, it appears there is no Robert Seagull. So his friend has been duped by a smooth-talking, probably ponytailed Seagull son lookalike.
And it's a great little tangent we're going to Random John but what other name would you use to deceive a lovely girl but Rob?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly, Endo.
Yeah.
Moving on to Random John, let the mess begin. That is the clarification of the rules of Random John. Number one, we acknowledge all those people that have written in. The board recognises people yelping for Random John to continue.
Yeah, can't risk it.
But we say again, under the rules of Random John, if we were to get a Rob, we would lose the John point. We would lose the World Cup. We would lose the Golden John.
Yep.
Until someone gets 2 John points.
That's when we go.
That's when we need to get back in the contest.
So it's
until that day, Australia, you have the World Cup. Treasure her. Be good to her. Take her to your primary school. Let it inspire children. Drink from her. Don't store table tennis balls in her. She's too good for that.
Exactly.
You've got the Golden John.
Yeah.
All
and
right.
The thing is, Ham, if for instance, Australia World Cup cricket had just won it, and they said, "Oh, you can go out and have a game of darts to try and lose it again." It was if they risked that. We can't risk.
Maybe in the 70s, those guys
Yeah,
had
they
a lot
loved darts.
They had a lot of character. The team back then would have wagered any trophy for darts, but not these days, Ando.
Yeah, not these days.
Which brings us to an email that's popped up frequently. I happen to be reading an email here from Jordan Dean. The board recognises Jordan Dean, but we've got the same message from dozens of different people through the emails.
Yeah.
It's come to my attention while listening back to our podcast that in your segment Random John, you did get a Rob.
Yes.
Does this mean you lose your John point? Or do you say, we didn't know that rule back then, and keep the John point? 2 good options you've given us, Jordan. As it turns out, we are doing the second one.
It's amazing. And look, we did.
We're as surprised as you are. When the official ruling came down from the governing body, we couldn't believe we got to keep the John point.
It was so great.
It was great.
Yeah,
Andy and I celebrated. We had a couple of sliders, mini burgers.
Yeah.
We ran around Central Park here in New York just screaming to the world, we're keeping the John point.
And look, we wanted to challenge it on everyone else's...
We fought back.
We fought back.
You should have heard us pushing back hard. No, take the John point. That's fair. Fair's fair, if that's what people think. But the governing body just said, no, guys, that rule didn't exist when you did get a Rob in week 2 or 3, so it was null. You did not get -1 John point. Rob points weren't a thing. Congratulations. You're the best players we've ever seen.
Yeah.
You're good for the sport. You're good guys.
Yeah, exactly.
And we said, are you sure?
Yeah.
Because we do not want this John point if it's been falsely gotten.
When a rule comes in, you don't retrospectively go back through
you
and change all the games that was decided potentially by that rule. I'll give you an
Someone
example.
breaks a world record. You don't go to everyone else. Oh, hey, you never had the world record.
No, but all the example
All right,
I've
bad
used...
analogy. What were you going to go for?
In hockey, for instance, field hockey, not
We're losing listeners.
but they took out the offside rule, like
Okay.
soccer,
Come on,
right?
Ando.
Right?
We're not. Are we thinking about the offside hockey rule?
My point is,
People download the board meeting because they think they're going to get world-class
My point is,
political debate.
My point
not
is-
hockey rules.
my point is, Sam, you don't go back through every game and go, if there was any goal that was stopped because of offside, you can have the goal.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing for us. If there's an idea that's coming, like the same with the swimsuits, for instance, in the Olympics.
I thought you meant a Miss Universe. You don't go back to when Halle Berry won it and go, you're in a one-piece. Show us some skin. You've lost the title.
You don't.
You don't.
It works for that.
Yeah.
So we do rejoice. We are Golden John holders, owners.
And thank you to the governing body of Random John
Whoever they are.
for seeing the light. We accept your ruling. And can I just say, sorry, we had one of the people that wrote in to protest Random John being. We're not stopping it. We're just strategically pausing.
Bench, yeah.
We're just strategically pausing and doing what any world-class coach would recommend a Random John team do, which is just play it a little bit smart.
Run the clock down.
We're
running the clock down, mate.
Someone has written in. I mean, I don't want to make this all about fake names, but I don't know. People are sensing my sweet spot. I do love them. He's written in going, it's getting big at my school. We'd really like you to not give up. We all play it. That was from Bum Bum Turd. He's 100,000 years old. His email address is lebullcrap@yahoo.com.
Okay.
But we say to you, Mr. Turd.
So I suppose.
I believe, is it pronounced Turd? We say to you, Mr. Turd, we will stop. And but thank you, Bum Bum, if I may call you by your first name.
That completes, on that terrible note, that does complete the board meeting, Ham, for this evening.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody, for the emails. Like I mentioned, if you're going to be in or around New York, we'd love to see you for the audience, for the TV show. But the shows start back live next Friday, for Pants Off Friday, from the Nook in New York.
And if you're not in New York, and we recognise that that will be most people, that's why you've got the radio show, the TV show. Join us through your speakers, and in good time, stop asking Channel 9. We will get you an air date. Yeah. In good time, the adventures will begin shortly from here in New York, and we can't wait to have you with us.
I do suspect that David Gingell, head of Channel 9, will be listening to the board meeting, and he'll go, the only way I could get heard is if I write it as Bum Bum Turd or someone equally as good. And he can then write, guys, when are you going to do the TV show?
Yours is silly poop squirt.
See you later, everybody. Take your ties off.
Meeting adjourned.
That was the Hamish and Andy Show podcast, powered by Amy. Lucky you're with Amy.